Okay, let's be real. We've all been there, right? You bring home this gorgeous, vibrant plant. You're so excited. You find the perfect little spot for it. Maybe you even give it a name. I'm guilty of that. And then, a few weeks later, it's just this sad, brown, crispy tragedy. It's a story we all know, and it usually ends with us thinking the same thing.
I just don't have a green thumb. We say it every single time, don't we? It's like, oh, it's not my fault. I just wasn't born with that magical gardening gene. It's a nice thought. It kind of lets you off the hook. But here's the thing. It's also completely wrong.
Yep. The secret? There is no secret. The whole green thumb idea is a total myth. I'm serious. There are no magical plant powers, just people who have learned from their mistakes. And today, we're going to learn from those same mistakes so you can finally stop the cycle of, well, let's call it plant homicide.
All right, so here's our game plan for this explainer. We're gonna tear down that green thumb lie. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of how we might be loving our plants just a little bit wrong. We'll talk about building a better home for them, finding that perfect spot, and finally, we'll wrap up with why gardening really isn't magic at all.
So, let's just get this out of the way right now. Every single successful gardener you know, the one with the amazing Instagram-worthy plants, has a plant graveyard somewhere in their past. I guarantee it. The only difference between them and you is that they paid attention to what went wrong and they stopped doing it. See, it's a skill you learn, not some gift you're born with.
Okay, let's dive into the #1 cause of death for houseplants, for seedlings, for pretty much everything a beginner touches. And spoiler alert, it's not neglect, it's not some weird bug, it's you. It's us, loving our plants to death with way, way too much water. And this is where it gets so confusing, right? You look at your plant, it's drooping, it's wilting, it looks so sad, and your brain immediately screams, "It's thirsty, give it water." But what if I told you that a drooping plant is also the #1 sign of a plant that is literally drowning?
Okay, so here's what's actually happening. It's a thing called root rot. See, plant roots need to breathe. They actually need oxygen from these tiny little air pockets in the soil. But when the soil is constantly soggy, those pockets just fill up with water. The roots can't breathe, they suffocate, and they start to rot. And here's the cruel twist. Rotted roots can't absorb water, so the plant wilts, which tricks you into watering it even more. It's a vicious cycle.
So, what's the solution? I want you to throw away your watering schedule. Seriously, forget watering Wednesday. That's over. From now on, you have one rule, and it's called the finger test. It is the most reliable method, period. You just stick your finger about an inch into the soil. If it feels even a little bit damp or cool, walk away. Don't water it. Come back and check again tomorrow. Simple as that.
Okay, so we've got watering under control. But, even the most perfect watering technique can't save a plant that's living in the wrong home. The pot and the soil, that's your plant's entire world. So let's make sure we get it right. And I cannot stress this enough. A pot without a drainage hole is not a home, it's a bathtub, a toxic swamp. If that water can't get out, it just pools at the bottom, creating the absolute perfect conditions for that root rot we were just talking about. Plus, all these salts and minerals from the water build up and can literally poison your plant over time.
But the fix is actually super simple. And you can still use that beautiful decorative pot you fell in love with. Just don't plant directly in it. Keep your plant in that cheap plastic nursery pot it came in. The one with all the holes. Then, just use your pretty pot as a sleeve. When it's time to water, you just lift the plastic pot out, take it to the sink, give it a good soak, let all the excess water drain out completely, and then pop it right back in. Problem solved. Easy.
All right, now for what goes inside the pot. Oh man, it is so tempting to just go outside, scoop up some dirt from the garden, and call it a day. Please don't do that. Garden soil, or dirt, is super heavy and dense. In a pot, it packs down like a brick and suffocates the roots. For any container, you have to use something called potting mix. It's totally different. It's been engineered to be light and fluffy, so it holds on to moisture but still lets air get to the roots. It's a game changer.
Okay, you've mastered watering, you've got the perfect pot and soil combo, so now, where on earth do you put the thing? Getting the light right and helping your plant survive a big move, those are the final pieces of the puzzle.
You know those little plastic tags that come with plants? They can be so misleading. When a tag says low light, it does not mean no light. There's no such thing as a no light plant. It just means it can handle a spot that isn't blasted by sun all day, like maybe near a north-facing window.
And on the other end, when it says full sun, they are not kidding. For things like tomatoes or peppers, that means at least 6 to 8 hours of direct, blazing sun every single day. The key is to match the plant to the light you actually have, not the other way around.
Now this next one is absolutely crucial for anyone who's ever bought a plant from inside a store and wants to move it outside. You can't just throw it out there. That sudden blast of wind, the change in temperature, the intense UV rays, it will literally scorch the leaves. It's called transplant shock, and it can kill a perfectly healthy plant in just a couple of days.
So you have to acclimate it. Think of it like a tourist hitting the beach on the first day of vacation. You don't want to get burnt. The process is called hardening off, and it just means introducing your plant to the great outdoors slowly over about a week. You start with a few hours in the shade, the next few days maybe a little bit of gentle morning sun. You're just building up its tolerance until it's tough enough for its new permanent home.
So we've covered a lot of the how-to stuff, the science behind keeping plants alive, but the real secret, it's not in a book. The single most important tool you have is just your eyes. It's observation.
So here it is. This is your new cheat sheet for success. It's this simple. 1. Always test the soil before you even think about watering. 2. Make sure your pots have drainage, no exceptions. 3. Use potting mix, not dirt in your containers. 4. Match the plant to the light you've got. And 5. Acclimate your plant slowly to new places. That's it. That is the foundation for everything. And get this, if you can just master those 5 basic things, you are already ahead of 90% of beginners. 90%! You've just skipped years of trial and error and a whole lot of dead plants. And really, this is the ultimate takeaway. It all boils down to this. Gardening is a science for sure, but it's not rocket science. It's mostly about just paying attention. Your plants will literally tell you what they need, through their leaves, the feel of their soil, the way they stand. You just have to learn how to listen. So, go take a look at your plant right now. No, really, go look. And don't just glance at it. Stick your finger in the soil. Turn over a leaf. Look at the stems. Forget this whole idea of having a green thumb and start the simple practice of being a plant observer. So, what's your plant telling you?